Okay, another video. Sure, in one of the last videos, I pretty much just established my actual thoughts about Asuka, but as well as Jun. But I have more things to say about that witch. But first, let me decide on who I want to legalize her. I know exactly who.
Jun Kazama.
Not really the outfit I wanted, but let's do this real quick. Let's fix that.
Heihachi Mishima. Jun Kazama.
Anyways, where is that?
Get ready for the
Choosing the
next
stage
battle.
with a certain soundtrack that's able to be drowned out. Anyways, the reason why I chose these two specific characters to be the framework is because, oh boy, where do I even begin? This dumb little woman trusted this man who's capable of doing this to take care of her son after an ancient demon attacks. There's multiple reasons for why Ancient Ogre attacked, but here's my thing. I don't care for reasons. The fact that Ancient Ogre attacked anyway, and she, you know, she thought it would be a great idea to, I don't know, send her son to this man. Find your grandfather. Why? It doesn't really explain. People just have headcanons, speculations, but meanwhile she thought it'd be a good idea. I genuinely am still baffled to this day about why she did it. I would never understand it. Nobody can make the argument that she did it because she genuinely thought it would probably help Jin in the long run. So here's my thing. With everything regarding Jun as a character, both in lore and so forth, you mean to tell me that she did not think to send her to anybody else? Why was he the only option? Why was someone who can do this the better option? Why is this better option? Or I was going for it, but you get what I mean. You know? Totally the better option. Like Jane, what was she thinking? I genuinely believe she contributed to a lot of reasons for that went wrong in the Tekken lore. It's because of her. Because here's my thing. You can go on and on about how Kazi was pure evil, blah 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 blah. Even though I genuinely don't think he's pure evil, I'll make another video detailing what my genuine thoughts about Kazi is in terms of him being evil. But Jane, I think she's genuinely worse because she doesn't see herself as someone who did wrong. Before someone tries to argue that she tried to do this and do that because Tekken 8 revealed this and we did that. Here's my thing. Why did we wait so many fucking years to gain 2 bits of information? A damn tree. You mean to tell me that the Kazamas are not only angelic beings, which is the headcanon I've had for a long time, because it just makes too much sense that they be angelic beings. I mean, there's a bunch of devils and talking bears and raptors and kangaroos and all shit. It may as well be angelic beings. So you mean to tell me that the further away she is from this tree, the weaker she is, because nature, I guess. She's a hippie. You trusted your faith into someone who's more or less a hippie. A hippie is going to save the world from the devil. Okay. Totally. That makes sense. That makes total sense. And here's the most annoying thing about her, too. It's not like she's completely incapable of contacting her son, who was, like, about to kill her, his father and his grandfather and everything like that, because that was happening in Tekken 4. Remember that shit? Remember that shit? Remember that shit? Remember? She just comes out as, like, more or less a Force ghost. Ain't that funny? And just by disappearing like that, suddenly Jin is just like, nah, I'm not gonna kill you. Be grateful for my mother. If it wasn't for her, I would have killed you. A lot of good that did, because in the following game, he goes to, kill his grandfather and everything like that. His great-grandfather, I mean. No, I know. Jinpachi, he hosted that big tournament because he needed someone to kill him, because he got possessed by an evil demon. Okay, makes sense. Here's my problem, though. You mean to tell me that Jin, someone that's supposed to be someone supposed to fall behind, is just like, if your last name is Mishima, you gotta die. Like, if that ain't prejudice, like, damn, you can barely have the name, like a vague connection, and he'll consider you a monster. Like, if Jun is such a good person, like he was supposed to be, like better than Kazuya, wouldn't Jin, I don't know, ask his grandfather what's going on? Like, genuinely. Like, Jin, if I was writing Jin, I would have him ask him a few questions, like learn some things. Instead of just being like, I'm going to destroy this Mishima blood curse. It is evil, and I'm going to destroy and myself along with it. Like, excuse me? And then come find out, and then the final game, well, due to his ending, because that's actually canon, his ending is that, well, he now has control of Zaibatsu, and he used that to wage a war. I already expressed my thoughts about that, but I'll even go on further and say that again, if he's supposed to be the protagonist and all these different things, and they're trying to make us care, why should I care at this point? I genuinely don't care. Anyways. Here's the most aggravating thing thus far about Jun. When you do Tekken 5, Devil Within's, thing, I apparently read on, because, back then I really wanted to learn, there's gotta be something about Jun. There's gotta be something, right? Something. She can't just be this so-called pure person who does this and this and that. Like, she feels more like a fucking Disney character, right? Like something from a fairy tale. Like, she doesn't feel real. Like, she doesn't feel like she exists in anything. Like, she just stands out too, well, she doesn't stand out. That's the weird thing. She's supposed to stand out, but she doesn't. So I looked her up on online and see what I can learn, and apparently she made like a cameo appearance, I guess, in the Devil Within game mode. Play that through. And I gotta say, the most interesting thing about that game mode was the enemies I fought, Ogre coming back, cloned Heihachi's attacking me, monstrous Ogre, and a flash of light, apparently. Apparently that flash of light is supposedly Jun helping Jin not be consumed by the Devil G, and I'm just like, yo, how pathetic are you? So now I have more questions. Why is it just a flash of light? Why can't it be anything else? That's all you got? Genuinely? A flash of light? You can't do anything else? Like, what's so special about a flash of light? I really want to know. What's so great about it? I genuinely just am disgusted. Like, that's annoying. And you wanna know why that makes it so annoying? She's supposed to be so important, right? Genuinely, so important. And yet, being so important, she's the most boring person ever. It's supposed to be this loving mother, but all I get is something so boring. She's just a loving mother. And even then, I can't say she's a loving mother because she's just a dumbass bitch. That's all she is. Like, genuinely, by comparison, Asuka is someone who is stuck in a rivalry prison. Like, genuinely, it feels more like an abusive relationship that she's in with Lily. She's not important, and yet I see a lot more personality in Asuka. I'm not joking, she has more personality. The scenario campaign and everything like that, the dialogue, and as well as other factors, they have a lot more personality going for Asuka. Meanwhile, Jun is just so boring. Like, Jane, she is so boring. Like, if motherhood is all you exist to be, then why should I care, right? You know what I mean? So important yet so dull. Jin is so important, but he's so dull. They both have that in common. Kazuya, meanwhile, while yes, is important, he's like less important until Tekken 8, and yet he has more personality, and he has more of an interesting story. I mean, the guy was thrown off a cliff when he wasn't even 10 years old. He was like 6 or 7. Thrown off a cliff by this guy, like Mr. Zeus over here, makes a deal with the devil, and apparently that devil was part of a whole fucking cursed bloodline thing. And he uses that power to, you know, be more and eventually beat his father. Like, I genuinely think whoever's behind Tekken has a weird idea of what constitutes as evil. Because, like, yeah, his stuff is bad, but it's like, I genuinely do not see him as that bad. Like, you say pure evil, but when I think of pure evil, I think of, like, Heihachi, I think of Bison. And no, we're not counting that weird retcon that Tekken 7 tried to do. He's not sympathetic, he's not believing he's right. That's a piss poor attempt to make him seem more dimensional. No, he's not. Because that didn't stop him from killing his own father, Jinpachi. You know, having him starve to death underneath the temple. You can't make a justification for that. And that's the other thing. I said in my previous video regarding Tekken that Asuka's whole thing is about communication. I learned that later after I had the question to myself, what is wrong with just talking? Dang, like, why can't the machine just actually just talk? Like, if Heihachi genuinely believed that about Kazumi, wouldn't he just tell Kazuya that what's going on? Instead of just being like, oh, if he's a devil, he would climb up that cliff and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I'm just thinking, no, that's not really how that fucking works. It's like they're trying way too hard to make that work, and it just failed. But even when he's shedding a tear, I felt manipulated. Like, it didn't feel genuine at all. Oh, and speaking of not genuine, Jun's ending, I can't feel for her. I know what they're trying to do, but we have been waiting so long for anything good with Jun, anything, that this whole narrative about her, how she wants her old family. But here's my thing, you want this fantasy, but you kind of ruined that for yourself. You didn't tell Jin about the truth about his own father. You told him to go meet his grandfather, and he's so stupid that he idolizes you to the point that he doesn't question anything about what you do. Genuinely, if it wasn't for Jun, things wouldn't be as bad. There's a guy named Roga Rabbit, I think his name is. He's a YouTuber. And it was mainly stemming from me because, you know, I wanted to hear his thoughts about what he thinks about the flaws of Jun. Because I have these like particular thoughts. He went in further detail that I'm just like, wow, I forgot about that detail. And they keep saying that she's pure this and pure that, but it's like, okay, but if she's pure, why is she sleeping with Kazuya? Why is he the love of her life and all these different things? And why is the Tekken story trying to act like she's still good and pure when she's not? It's like whoever's writing her is not honest about it. It's scary. It's genuinely scary because it's like she doesn't believe she's in the wrong necessarily. Like, yeah, people can speculate and have a high headcanon that she's guilty. She feels guilt, but until we see it, it's just that. There's not much evidence to prove that. And that's the unfortunate thing about Jun. Like, she's so nothing, but well, not everybody, but people treat her like she's everything. And that's genuinely unfortunate because she... So put it like this, my thing with Jun is that if they wanted her to be like this kind of person, they could have taken inspiration from like the daughter from Star Wars, or Jedi Master Fei, again from Star Wars. If they wanted the right person like that, they could have gone with that, but instead they just did nothing. So the most she deserves is something like this.